Alright guys, so the Sportster is due for an oil change now. We're about to go on a long trip, and I like to do it before I go on every trip just to be sure that we have the best running bike. I got the tire to do still. We got the spark plugs done last time. So now all I really have to do is just the oil and the tire, and I'll be good to go for this trip. Should be scheduled for the end of the month. So to do the oil change, you only need a couple basic tools. You're gonna need an oil filter, 3 quarts of oil. You need a flathead screwdriver. You need a ratchet, extension. The best way is to use an oil filter wrench or a socket attachment, I guess, whatever you would call this. But if you don't have that, you could use some vice grips or something, You don't have to always use one, but that's the best way, especially if you have a chrome filter like I do. That bad boy. I don't want to scratch it up, so I'm going to use the wrench. I also have one of these guys because they kind of put it in a bad spot, So whenever you pull that off, you got to put this under there, hopefully to catch most of the oil. I'm probably still going to have to clean up a little bit in there, but other than that, we're basically ready to get started. All we have to do first is start the bike for a few minutes, let it warm up to operating temperature, and then we can pop the drain plug on the drain tube, and then we also got to pop that guy, and then yeah, we'll move on to the oil filter. A little bit hard to see back there, but the oil drain plug can be easily accessed from the right side of the bike, but we are unable to unscrew it from this side because the last person to do my oil change, my boy Wade, he put the hose clamp on the left side, so I got to get in under here, which is a lot shorter of a space, to unscrew it with that flathead screwdriver. So I'm going to get to that now. Alright, now that this bad boy is nice and hot to the touch, we're going to do something that we completely forgot to do. Now, we're ready. Always wear your PPE because you only have one life. And we're already risking it, riding these fucking motorcycles all the time with all these stupid people on the road. And I keep ripping my pants more and more. Ooh, buddy. Just touched the exhaust. You can tell I'm not a mechanic. Let's get the oil cap popped as well. Whew. Well, I failed to keep myself oil free. Alright, let's tip it up so we can get a little bit more oil out of here. Alright, now we're going to attempt to put the drain plug back in. It was a pain in the ass getting it out. I hope I can get it back in without a problem, but we'll see. Might have to go from the other side, actually. All right, let's see if the clamp will help. Oh, yeah. Fucking money. I guess if you have the right fucking tools for the job, just use them. I'm stupid, so don't be like me. I waste too much time without thinking. And I should have turned the thing around. Like I said, I don't think. I don't have a mechanic brain like my dad, like my brother. They're both great mechanics. I am not, but I'm trying because I can't rely on them forever. And I urge everybody to learn how to do their own stuff too. Now when tightening this back, you don't need to tighten it too much, just enough to snug it up. You don't want to crush your plug. You can kind of see it popping a little bit on the side right here. I think that should be tight enough, honestly. All right, we're plugged back up. We're good to go on there. Now we're gonna move on to the oil filter. All right, now comes the fun part. I hope that we're gonna be able to get this off without too much of a mess, because I really don't want to have to clean up all these wires and shit down here. I might be able to get it out the way. I think that's gonna be good enough for me. All right, now we got our little makeshift funnel. I think Harley sells one themselves, but it was expensive, and I'm cheap. And on some things you can cheap out. Some things you can't, but some things like this, I'm not too concerned, you know? And that, perfect fit, just like I figured it would be. Ooh. Actually, looks like that funnel worked really well. What the hell? I am not going to complain about that. Okay, let's get some lighting in there. Man. I guess if it works, it's not stupid. Like $8 on Amazon. I might link that because I got the wrench, the funnel, another funnel, like a long funnel for putting into the I think in the derby cover. I also got one of these little primary cover funnels as well for having to fill the primary. I wish I had that a couple months, or it was over a year ago now. Before the trip down to LA, I had to redo my primary fluid, and man, that was a pain in the ass, but this looks like it's going pretty well. All right, now that this is finished draining out all the excess oil that's been in there, we should be good to put the oil filter on. We got our brand new Harley Davidson oil filter. I just went with OEM because it's the easiest thing to get, because I have a Harley store kind of close to me. Beautiful new chrome oil filter. Fingerprints already on it somehow. All right, so a lot of people recommend putting a little bit of oil around the rim. So me not being a professional mechanic, I usually follow advice. It says, of course, a thin film, so. And they also say to pour a little bit of oil into the filter to prime it. So I'm gonna do that as well. I'll just do like 1 or 2 ounces. Kind of spin it around a little bit, get the oil all through the filter. And now you put this back on. You don't use the wrench. You put it back on hand tight. right, now that I got that most of the way on there, I'm going to remove the funnel and the rag so I don't pinch it between. I think that should be tight enough. Fingers crossed. All right, the last step for us is going to be refilling the oil. And because I suck at pouring oil, I'm going to get a funnel. Also, it's not the most easy thing to record and do anything really. So it's taking a little bit longer than I wanted it to, but that's what we're here for. It's a learning experience. And if you don't know what you're doing, I sure as hell don't know what I'm doing. And if I could do it, you could do it. So you might as well just give it a shot, right? So the first quart, just pour the whole thing in, because we're definitely going to need it. There's number 1 done. Now we'll get number 2. We need at least 2 quarts. Now that we got the 2 quarts in there, we'll get our cap back on here. Oh, I guess it would help if we took the funnel out. Like I said, I'm not a mechanic, but I'm trying my best here. So all advice taken from me is taken with a grain of salt. Keep that in mind. All right, so now that we got that back on there, we can check to see if our oil level is correct. It's just barely out of there. And if it's under there, the Harley service manual says to add a full quart. Instead of adding the full quart, we're going to do a half a quart first, and we're going to see what the level is at. But first, no, I think, yeah, we're going to do the oil first, and then we'll try to start the bike, let it run for a minute to get up to operating temp again, and then we can check the oil again to make sure that we still have a proper oil level. All right, this is quart number 3. We're going to get in there and put about half of it in there now. That's about half. All right, now we'll grab the cap again. And now we start the bike. All right, now is a moment of truth. All right, now it's time to check the oil again. Now that it's up to operating temperature, we should be able to check it now and see what the actual level is. So you want to wipe off your dipstick, get it back in there all the way, take it back out. And we're still a little bit low. When I first turned it on, it was about halfway through the stick, so we want to add that other half. Now we just add the other half. Well over halfway now, so we're perfectly where we want to be. And that's all it really takes. That is an oil change on a Sportster 1200. Thank you guys for watching, and if this helped you, if you just enjoyed it, leave a like, maybe comment, subscribe, and hopefully I have earned your trust, and I will see you next time.